Hello everyone, welcome on Scottish Summit 2022. Welcome on my session, Approvals in Microsoft Teams. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be together with you, so I created that video so you can watch it during the event or watch it later on YouTube. Before we start, big thanks to our sponsors, Microsoft, HSO, Proximo 3, Docs42, PwC, AIS, Companial, CloudThink, Experian, Incremental, DQ Global, ATEC, Tiski, and SquareUp. My name is Marcin Siewnicki. I am Microsoft 365 consultant. I work in a Polish company ISCG. I build solutions using Microsoft 365 services from Teams to SharePoint, from Power Apps to Power Automate. So I use different services to build solutions around modern workplace. You can find me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. You can also check my blog, Modern Workplace site. So let's go and check today's agenda. First, quick introduction. I will talk a little about approvals. What is an approval, when you can find approvals, then our main topic, so approval application. What is approval application in Teams? How you can find it, install it, and start using that application. And then the biggest part, how to, so demo about approval application, how to create approvals, work with approvals, integrate approvals with different type of apps in Teams. So without further ado, let's start. What is approval? You can imagine a person, requester, that want something to be approved by a manager, a group of managers, etc. So that requester create an approval. It could be digital form, paper, or other type of request, and send that request to approver person. And that person can accept that request or reject. So we have two outcomes, positive one and negative one. And this is very basic atomic approval. So we have one requester, one approver, and only two outcomes, positive and negative. Of course, you can imagine more advanced approvals with multiple approvers, with multiple type of approval. For example, if you have 4 approvals, only one need to accept your request, or all must accept request to be positive, or outcomes. There could be more outcomes, not only positive, negative, but a third, fourth, etc. But this is very basic and some kind of baseline approval, and approvals in Teams based on this kind of approvals. There are some additional modification in some cases, but all approvals in Teams are based on this kind of approval. You can find approvals, in fact, in every single business process. In document approval systems, when you want to approve or request some kind of document for approval, in management acceptance processes, official signature from management. If you need some kind of signature, you send a document or a note for such signature. In back-off processes, so if you want a day off, or if you work on site and need to work from home, you can send a request to your manager for such with such a request. Cost invoices approvals, purchase orders, etc. So financial stuff, and of course informal processes, because approval can also be simple talk. You can ask your manager if you need something. So You don't need to get an official paper, email, etc. So it could be also informal processes. Let's go to our main topic, approval application. So approval application in Teams, this is a personal application. What does it mean, personal application? It means that this application is visible in your left-hand navigation and provide information, tasks, data related to your work. So this is kind of private space where you can work on specific topic. And personal applications can't be added as a tab inside Team, so it is only visible in your left-hand navigation. And approval application provide a one single dashboard or window where you can find all your approvals created in Microsoft 365. So not only created in Teams, but created in entire Microsoft 365. It also provides additional features such as integration with Teams chat, but I will talk about that later. As you can see, this is a screenshot from the approvals application. You have a large screen with all your approvals, where you can find all information about that and interact with those approvals. So let's go and check how to install approval application and start working with that app. So let's go and open apps in your left hand navigation and search for approvals. Approvals, so this is the our approvals application. Simply click on that application and select add. Okay, if you do this for the first time, you will have option or button named install. But as at the end, you will get approval application in your left hand navigation. So inside that application, inside that approvals app, there is a left-hand navigation with different types of approvals. You have two main tabs, received and sent. So received displays all approvals created by you, and sent displays all approvals received by you, so created by someone else and sent to you. On the top right section, there is a new approval request button, so main entry point for new approvals. And the biggest part of the screen displays all your existing approvals with title, status, created date, who created that approval, and some additional information. In the received tab, you have also a column called sent to. So you can find there all your approvals. If I click on, for example, this one, I will get information about that approval. If I check maybe this one, no, this is also without file. Maybe this one. Yeah, as you can see, this one is with some additional document inside, and this approval is still waits for some actions, and so I can approve that request or reject it. So this is the main window to all your approvals inside in entire Microsoft 365. Let's switch to the biggest part, how to, so section where I will show you how to work with approvals, and some advanced features. Right now I will show you how to create an approval from scratch, how to work with approvals, how to approve, reject, and do some additional actions. Then I will talk a little and show you integration with Teams chat, what is possible, what's not possible. Documents, very important part, very important feature, because a lot of approvals based on documents. So how to add document, how to work with document, and I will show you one very important information about documents in approvals. Templates, so how to create more formal processes. So I will create a template with some predefined fields. Signatures, so how to use built-in features for electronic signatures. And Power Automate integration. So how Power Automate is integrated with approval applications, and how you can use that. So first task, create a new approval. In your approval application, click on this new approval request in top right corner on your application and select basic request. You can find more types, but we will talk about that later. Let's start from the basic one. So create approval from scratch. First thing is to create a name. Let's say new approval #1, and I need to enter names for my approval. So who should approve my request? I will use my second account for this approval, but if I add more, because you can add more approvers, then you will have a chance to select this additional switch. So you can require a response from all recipients, or only from the first one. But this option is only available if you add more than one approvers. I will stick to one. You can add some additional details about my approval, but this field is optional. And add attachment. So if I click add attachment, I can select attachment from my OneDrive. I can upload it from my computer or attach a link to this to a document. I will try to upload maybe this one. I used that file before, so that I have to replace that one. So very important thing, you can add only one single file, single document. You can add multiple documents right now. Next two options, custom responses. By default, approvals in Teams, there are only two possible outcomes: accept and reject. If you customize those outcomes, for example, yes and no, you can use that feature, but you can't add third or fourth options. Only two are possible. And the last one, send to another environment. You can use this switch to send your approval to different environments in some advanced scenarios. But in this demo, let's stay with basic approval, so only title, one approval, one approver, and one attached document, and click send. Okay, we have a new approval. It's in requested state. I can click on that approval and I will get information about my approval. I can follow up, so send additional notification to Marcin, or I can cancel a request because I'm the owner of this approval. So now I switch to my second account. and click on approval application. And now here it is, new approval appeared, and this approval is assigned to my second account. So I have additional options. I can click approve, reject, or reassign. So using reassign, I can reassign to other person. So if I'm not responsible for this specific topic, I can reassign my this approval to someone else. But let's click add some. It is okay, and click approve. And yep, state is changed to approved. So our first basic approval has been created and approved by me. So as you can see, it's a very simple process. Just enter some basic information, add document if you need, and click send, and then your approver will be able to approve or reject that request. What is very important, all notifications about approval, so new approval, accepted, rejected, reassigned, etc. All notifications by default are stored in activity feed. So if you go there, you can find all information about your approvals, about approvals assigned to you. If it is all information about my approval directly inside activity feed. You will get all information about your approval with document, with status, with requester, with approver, etc. If you close that window, you will get embedded entire approvals application inside your activity feed window. But that's not all about notifications, about activity feed. If you go to settings, to your team's settings, navigate to notifications section, scroll down a little, there is a section called approvals. Inside, you will get all settings related to notifications for approvals. And you can configure every single one. So you can disable, setting this to off. You can only show notification inside feed, inside activity feed, or you can use feed and banner. So you will get additional banner for every single notification about this specific feature. So it's up to you how to configure it, but it's important to know that you can configure every single operation, every single notification about approvals. Okay, the next thing, very important thing is documents and permission for permissions for the documents inside approvals. Okay, so I will go to my approvals. I will create a new one again, document, let's say one. I will assign it this time to John. I will add attachment. Okay, that's it. Click send. But this time I will open this approval using my main account and click on this file. In this case, this is a PDF file with some sample text inside, so it will open in my new browser tab. But what happens if I close this window? As you can see, I'm redirected to my OneDrive account. So in my files, this application created approvals document folder and put all attached documents inside. So what does it mean? All attached documents to approvals are automatically saved in Requestor OneDrive. So you can find there all your documents for all created approvals by you. So if you want to add, or if you need to create a new approval with this and add additional document, but this document already exists in your approvals document folder, you will get a chance to replace that file or save it with a new name. But as you can see, there is a section, a column called sharing, and every single file in approvals document folder is shared. I will click this option, and by default, every single attached document are shared with entire organization with edit rights. So if I copy this link, I can send it to my colleagues, and they will be able to edit this file. Of course, if it's, for example, Word or Excel file. For PDF, it's only available to read. But keep in mind, if you add attachment or add a document to your approval, it will be shared with your entire organization with edit rights. Now let's go back to Teams. I will show you integration with chats. I have one channel called chats, and I want to create a new approval, but directly from this chat. There is a tiny little icon in your chat toolbox. As you can see, it's the same as in approval application in your left-hand navigation. So if I click this one, I can create a new approval from chat. John. I can add an attachment, but let's start without anything else. As you can see, approval has been created. It's visible directly in Teams chat. I can click view details. Okay. If I go back to John's account, to Teams, to the same channel, I get the same message with actions available directly from chat window. So I don't need to go to approval application or to notification feed. No, I can approve or reject it directly from a chat window. So that's a great option if you want to start or if you want to create approval directly from a chat and use only chat to communicate with your colleagues or with one specific person. But if I click that again, as you can see, I have to enter approvals manually. There's no option that this approval window can get anything automatically from my Teams chat or from chat recipient. So I have to enter approvals manually here. Let's go back to approvals application. And I want to show you templates. If you use basic request in approvers field, you can set yourself as approver. What does it mean? You can approve your own request. So it's not a good way to create formal processes. For example, holiday request, new hardware request, etc. Because you can approve something, some request by yourself without notifying your managers, etc. So that's not a good way or proper way to create such processes. To create a formal process, you should use templates. So click create or manage templates and create a new template. You can use one of existing templates, but I want to create a new one from scratch. And there are three options: org-wide template, specific people, and team-wide. Org-wide applies to everyone in your organization, and this template will be visible for everyone. But to create such template, you must be assigned as an admin to creating such templates. Specific people, so you have to specify people which should create or use such template. And team-wide, this kind of templates are assigned to a specific team, and to create such template, you must be owner of this team. So let's start with use this team-wide, and I will select my approvals team. We should create a template name, for example, hardware request. We can select category and add some description. The next setting is form designer. So we can add additional fields to our form, for example, choice. Hardware type. You can add text, you can add date. As you can see, if you are familiar with Microsoft Forms, this should be familiar to you, because this designer uses the same backend features. So it's limited forms designer. That's all for the testing. So I click next, and I can specify some additional settings for my template. So I can select if I want the attachment to be required or not. And the next step, I can specify approvers. For example, John. So John will be by default approver in this template, and people won't be able to change this. I can modify or create custom responses and select comments to be required or not. Okay, let's preview the form. As you can see, there are two additional fields, hardware type and date. John is grayed out in approvers field. It means it's by default and no one is able to change that. Okay, publish. Okay, new hardware is published. Hardware request published. Sorry. So now if I go back to approvals application and click new approval request. Oh, this time application just got some issue behind that. I can scroll down to my approvals team, and I can select new hardware request or another template that is assigned to this team. I click hardware request, and as you can see, approvers field is grayed out, and by default John is here, and I'm not able to change this field. I can click those additional fields. Let's add that. Okay, and I can send it. So it's a great option to create formal processes, because you can specify approvers for your team, for your users, and no one will be able to modify this field. So they will create new approvals based on your template or your predefined settings. The next thing I want to show you is integration with Power Automate. By default, this approval application aggregate and displays all approvals created in this application, so in approvals in Teams, but it shows also all approvals created using Power Automate. So it doesn't matter if you use application or create business process, some automation using Power Automate and create approval inside this Power Automate flow, it will be visible in one application. I created a very simple approval integration flow. There are only two actions, manual trigger and start and wait for approval. I will call it demo approval. So title will be demo approval from Power Automate, and it will be assigned to John. Okay, save it and test it. So it should create approval with this title, and this approval should be visible in my approval application in Teams. So let's check. It should be in sent section. Okay, it should be visible. Let's wait a moment. Yeah, here it is. Demo approval from Power Automate assigned to John. So as you can see, it doesn't matter. You can create business processes using Power Automate, some automations, integration between different systems. If you use approval action inside your flow, it will be visible in this application in Teams. So that's great because you don't need to add or to create or to modify your flows to add additional steps to allow people use this application for existing approvals. That's great because you don't need to do anything. If you use approvals actions in Power Automate in your flows, you don't have to do anything. It's ready to use, ready to be displayed in approvals application in Teams. The last thing that I want to show you is integration with third-party e-signature vendors. There are two built-in vendors, Adobe with Adobe Sign and DocuSign. So you can use one of those vendors to sign your documents in approval processes using approvals in Teams. I will show you DocuSign. I've just signed to 30-day trial, so I can use it for some testing purposes. So I created, as you can see, offer approval and accepted that approval. But I will create a new one. So this time I will select DocuSign button and some name. Of course, attachments. This time I can select attachment from DocuSign site, or I will put here John. Okay, and click prepare. To finish this approval, this time I must go to DocuSign page. So right now I'm on the DocuSign page. I can click next. I don't want to add anything, just click through the wizard, and that's it. Okay, if I go back to Teams and click send, yeah, this is my DocuSign approval test. It's in progress. It was sent to John. Now I'm on John's account in DocuSign section. As you can see, there's a new DocuSign approval. So if I click on this one, can click review, and this time again I'm redirected to the DocuSign page. Okay, continue. I can add some signature, for example, here. This is test, so it doesn't matter which option I choose, and finish. And from DocuSign's side, it's done. If I go back to Teams, okay, I quickly refresh this, and it's completed. So there are two parts in using electronic signatures. Part one is you can create or review approvals inside application, inside approvals in Teams, but preparation and signing documents are done directly in DocuSign site, and it works in the same for Adobe. So Teams or approvals in Teams are front-end part for users, so you can check if there's something new, you can create a new request, new approval, but signing is only available in this third-party vendor, so on DocuSign site or on Adobe site. Let's go back to presentation and quickly go through key takeaways from today's session. So approvals in Teams, it's a dedicated application that you can find in Teams. It should be available for all users. By default, it's available, but administrators can block this. It displays approvals from created in the app and created in Power Automate. There's integration with chat, so you can use chat. You can create a new approval directly from chat, and chat will send this message to your colleagues. To formalize approval processes, you should use templates. If you want to use signatures, you can choose between Adobe Sign and DocuSign. Those two third-party vendors are built in approvals in Teams and provide you e-signatures features. And that's not all, because new features are coming, and quite big features. First, approvals will be available in Office applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. So you will be able to approve or reject document directly from document itself. So for example, you can read a Word document and make some approvals action. It will be also available in SharePoint and in Outlook. Graph API support. Graph will get support. Will be able to talk with approvals, and it will open additional ways to communicate to create more advanced approvals. For example, communicate external application, completely external, with using Graph API. So you will be able to create really advanced approval processes and connect approvals with some third-party applications, with your own application, custom code, etc. And the last big feature, dedicated controls in Power Apps. You will be able to create applications in Power Apps that will be able to display approvals directly from Microsoft 365, in the same way as approvals in Teams applications do. Okay, that's all for today's sessions. Thank you very much for your time. Again, thank you to our sponsors. Have a nice day. Have a great Scottish Summit, and thank you very much.